Hey there, I'm Mikko from Greenrose Faire, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my bass guitar. Now, if you have followed the band for a while, or me in my other bands, I'm sure you have noticed me play this instrument. And it's very special to me. It was built to my specifications. And it was built in 2019 by Sami Koivisto, who is a Tampere-based luthier. And I first found out about him when I was looking for somebody to do a refret on one of my electric guitars. And he did a great job on that guitar. So I made the decision and he can build my bass. Sami is best known for building flamenco guitars for some of the most famous flamenco players in Finland. And he's built this one as well. And if you now take a look, and if you are familiar with the most famous bass guitar designs, I'm sure you notice right away that essentially this is a jazz bass style instrument. If you don't know the model, it's a very famous one, loved by many. It's designed by Fender and manufactured still by Fender, and originally came out in the 1960s. There's a few changes in the shape, in the body shape, compared to the original. Mainly this belly gut here and the place where your arm rests when you play. These contours here are a little bit deeper than in the original design. And also this heel at the neck joint, this is rounded. And all of these have to do with the ergonomics. Now, an original jazz bass is fairly comfortable to begin with, but I wanted to make it even better for me. And it turned out really good. Take a look at the body of the instrument. I'm sure you right away notice the wood here in the top, and it is flame birch. Now birch is very rarely used in guitars and basses, but it essentially serves the same purpose as maple. But the pattern is slightly different from flame maple, and I first saw it in pictures of Sami's guitars, and I right away loved the unique look it had. And also there's a lot of sentimental value in using birch, because birch is very common wood in Finland, grows everywhere in the country pretty much, and it connects well with my Finnish heritage. And this birch here happens to be Arctic birch, so that's also very fitting, because birch grows in the most northern parts of Finland, where pretty much no other wood grows, and that fits with my personality, I think, because it shows this kind of a stubbornness and determination and persistence. So that's really nice in that sense as well. Now moving on, I would like to talk a little bit about the neck on this bass. Now it's a very narrow neck, which is typical of jazz bass. But also this is extremely thin, even for jazz bass. And that is because my hands are tiny. And having a small neck as possible enables maximum reach and very comfortable reach for me. Now with this very thin neck comes a problem, and that is stability, or more lack of stability than stability. And that is a problem when the weather changes, or if you travel to another country with very different climate. And what happens then, or what can happen then, is that the neck adjustment can get way off, and the strings can get very high or very low, and both are problematic. The extreme string height is a problem in a sense that it makes the instrument very difficult to play. And low is a problem because it makes the strings buzz on the frets, and then you have a lot of this buzzing noise, and it ruins your tone. So I prefer a very stable neck that I don't have to adjust all the time. And even if it's unstable, you can always adjust it, but it takes time, so I don't prefer it. And the stability in this instrument has been achieved by adding two carbon fiber reinforcement rods inside the neck, and they work really, really well. I only had to adjust the neck for the couple of first months when I got it, a few tweaks then, and after that I got it right and it settled down, and I haven't had to make any changes to the adjustment, and that is really good compared to my previous bass, which I had to adjust pretty much on a weekly basis. So a huge improvement there. Now another thing related to this ergonomics and maximum reach physically is that I prefer 4 strings over 5 strings. And with this preference comes the lack of range, and in this case it's lack in the low range. So I'm missing range of 1 string. And I've tackled that by tuning down always, one whole step, so I get 2 extra notes in the low end. And many times that's already enough. But in addition, I have this mechanism here and this lever, which allows me to quickly tune down the low string another whole step. So I have two more notes there, and that covers everything in that 5-string low end except 1 note, but I rarely miss that, so it's a very good compromise for me. Now another thing that is a bit special in this one, if you think of it, then that is essentially it's a vintage style bass guitar. So a difference from that is the bridge placement, and it has been placed a little bit over to this side, which is because when tuning down on a vintage style bass, there's often a problem that you cannot get the string length, the intonation correct. So there's a little piece here, and I can move it over this way or that way. And the purpose of that adjustment is to get every fret on the fretboard to play in tune on all these strings. So you can adjust every single string individually. And if the bridge is placed closer to the neck, it can be a problem that you would have to move this little piece here over to this side so far that there's a bit too steep angle here, which leads to instability problems with tuning. So this bridge here was placed very carefully on the instrument, and it's in a good place where I don't have to compromise my tuning or my stability, so it works really well. Now, other than that, it's a fairly close to original jazz-based design, except for the pickups. They are active pickups, so there's a battery inside. The battery powers 2 preamps in, or one preamp in each pickup, and that gives strong and consistent output and very low noise. With at the expense of a little bit coloration in tone if you compare it to a vintage instrument, but I actually happen to prefer this a bit more modern sound, and I love the low noise. That's a key thing for me. Also, one customization is that I have this volume potentiometer. So one controls the volume of one pickup, and the other one controls the other one. And I have reversed them in a way that this first one here controls the bridge pickup, and this one controls the neck pickup volume. And typically they are the other way around, which kind of makes sense visually, like they are closer to what they are controlling. But for me, it's the other way around, because in the middle of a song, whenever I have to adjust anything, it's pretty much every time it's a bridge pickup volume. So I wanted to make it as accessible as possible, and this way it works out for me great. Now, I can't think of anything else to say in this kind of a brief introduction. So if you have anything to ask, if you are curious about any details, then just post a comment and I'll get back to you. So I guess this is all. Have a nice day. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.